can move into a time of Q&A if anyone has any questions for the speakers.
Hi, I'm Lily. Thank you all for a wonderful presentation. And yeah, I love the combination of all of your work because I feel like it really speaks to each other. So I kind of have like a general question for everyone, which is around methodology specifically, because for context, you know, I'm working on something where I'm straddling like oral histories, ethnography, autoethnography, archival work, as well as sort of straight up like theory. And I'm just like constantly struggling because I feel like, where's the roadmap, you know? But as I'm listening to all of your work, I just feel a lot of resonance. And so I would just love for you all to talk a little bit more about how you're navigating, you know, I know someone mentioned ethnography, maybe like your own positionality, like how you came into these topics, and, you know, especially, I guess, from the perspective of folks who are within the formal academy, which I am as well. And, you know, I think maybe on top of that, like the neoliberal sort of commodification of identity, both, you know, in spaces that you all are studying, whether that's the literary world or sex work or beauty or the music industry, but then also like the sort of academic industrial complex that we find ourselves as workers in. So big questions, but feel free to answer any of that.
Yeah, I think that's such a great question, and I've worked with a number of different research methods, including literary works as well as cultural and looking at museums. And I think we can't, you know, separate ourselves from our work in some ways, and that our identity is always going to come into play into how we're interpreting these texts or interpreting these images. And so, you know, I think working in the academy, working in this neoliberal institution, I recognize that I have to use the tools that I have, right? And we're kind of using the master's tools, but then how do we break that down and use it in ways that are ethical, that are recognizing the power imbalances? And I think, you know, such a wonderful example, like the pornography industry, you know, how are we interrogating that dominant narrative in ways that emphasize the unseen labor or the unseen underrepresented identities. And that's something that I'm grappling with as a Korean American, someone who's international. I try to bring that perspective into the works that I'm looking at and the ways that it's interpreted through like a transnational lens or a non-Western lens. So that's kind of where I'm trying to bring that in.